Good morning and welcome to the debut of The Big Whoop Show.
Thank you for tuning in. We have a great show for you today. So, we started off on a radio show called The Big Whoop, and then we went to a talk show called The Big Whoop.
Yeah.
So how is that transition from a radio show to a talk show?
Well, for me, I feel like a radio show was definitely fun. I mean, I didn't expect it to be fun because, I don't know, when I listen to the radio, I'm just like, it's whatever. But when you really get to do a radio show, I think it's fun because like we choose all of our segments and we choose music. So I feel like a radio show is definitely better so far than a TV show just because there's less pressure when we talk.
Yeah, I like the radio show too because I get to state my opinion without them seeing my face. And then in a talk show, they can see your face, and I make a lot of
interesting
facial expressions. And then I like to pick the music, and then I like that fact that you can make the radio show whatever you want.
Yours, exactly.
You can talk about what you want, and then you can pick the music or the genre that you like.
Yeah,
so I really
exactly.
do like that part.
So I like that we get to choose like game segments, I guess. So I definitely think the radio show is pretty good so far.
I do too. Speaking of music, this last Sunday was the 63rd annual Grammy ceremony, with artists like Beyonce, who's known for having the most Grammys ever received by any male or female artist. Other award-winning artists include Megan Thee Stallion, who won a total of 3 Grammys with an unforgettable performance, Billie Eilish, who won Record of the Year, Taylor Swift coming in with Album of the Year. This year was a phenomenal year for female artists as they took home all the major awards, which include Song of the Year and Best New Artist. Lee Lodiga won his first Grammy in Best Historical Album category as co-producer for It's Such a Good Feeling.
Not to mention, he's a John Adams alumni. I mean, just like us. So I feel like that's pretty cool, be proud of.
It is, because that shows you anything is possible. It doesn't matter if you're from a big city or a small city.
I know, because you would expect people like from California to be winning all these Grammys, but like sometimes you don't consider that there's like more categories in the like music industry,
I didn't
guess.
know it was a category called Best
Historical Album. So like it was really interesting when we found out that, Lee Lodiga, he won a Grammy. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Speaking of the Grammys, back in 1964, Best New Artist went to the Beatles. And to talk a little bit more about the Beatles, here is Andrew and Mason.
Tell you something, I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand.
A music group formed around the talents of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. The Beatles have had a profound impact on music today.
Not only have they had a profound impact on the music itself, but on the artists too. For example, Ozzy Osbourne was heavily influenced by the Beatles.
It's great to meet him, and it's been a lifetime of ambition of mine. You guys made me start music,
Not only that, singer, songwriter, and professional guitarist Paul Stanley of Kiss was heavily influenced by the Beatles as well. And many other artists have too.
Right now, me and you, we both love the Beatles.
Oh yes.
We listen to the Beatles a lot, and we've kind of studied their music, and we actually play their music as well on guitar.
That's the thing. Their songs are nice, easy, and they're always good to, come together and sing along.
And yeah, there's just a lot of music out there from the Beatles and the Beatles band members after they did break up. And I think it just has had a long and profound impact on where we stand today in music.
It's more like that ripple effect when you throw a pebble into a pond.
Now they are coming out with a new Beatles documentary that is in the making right now, and Rio Star did say that it's going to bring back fun.
That it's set to be released on August 27, 2021. So it may seem pretty far away, but it will be right here before you know it.
Make sure you join us on WETL 91.7 FM, The Mix, South Bend. We have the Mike Hour Show, and we will be doing that here every week at 10 a.m. on Wednesday.
So, like, growing up, did you ever listen to, like, any old school music?
I mean, since we were, since we were little, we were born in the early 2000s. I guess I would say that, like, the people that I grew up listening to, It's like people like Britney Spears and like, all of those. And then the trends, like, the Gangnam, is that how you say Gangnam Style? Gangnam Style? Like,
Oh, like Gundam Style. Or is
yeah,
that the
like,
song like Gundam Style?
I feel like, actually, no, you know what? Most of the music that I listened to was from like Just Dance.
Yeah.
To be honest, because I don't think as a little kid you really listen to music like that. You know what I mean?
I did, because my mom played a lot of old school music, like the Beatles. My grandma played the Beatles.
Really? So you know about the Beatles?
Just a little, like not
just a little
enough,
bit.
like not a lot to be like.
I mean, I've heard the name, but I haven't heard any songs.
They were a
so.
good artist, though. I mean, a good group. And then I remember as a kid, when you was in like elementary, you used to have concerts.
Yeah.
We sung like like Here Comes the Sun. We
Yeah.
sung that at our concert.
Oh,
So I
wow.
do know the Beatles just a bit.
On the other side of the entertainment world, the movie industry has been struggling over the past year with on-set restrictions and theaters closing. But streaming services like Netflix and Hulu have been benefiting from this pandemic. But last week, the new director's cut of Justice League was released in theaters and streaming services. And here's Jalen with the big whoop movie buzz.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is a legendary movie. This film is everything a DC fan could have ever dreamed of. Zack Snyder's Justice League is proof that when you give a director complete creative control over their movie, you will get something beautiful. When it comes to the acting in the movie, it's far better than what was in Justice League 2017. When it comes to the cinematography and the CGI we got in this movie, I can't even put into words how much better it is than the CGI in Justice League 2017. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg all have completely good story arcs in this movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League definitely did these characters justice. Cyborg is actually the heart of the movie. If you're a superhero fan or an action movie fan, I 100% recommend this movie. It is absolutely worth it. To simply put it, Zack Snyder's Justice League is an amazing film. I know it might be frightening that this movie is 4 hours long, but when you get to the end, it's completely worth it. I 100% recommend watching this movie.
So what is your, what do you think about the whole Justice League, the original cut, I guess?
I have not seen it yet.
You haven't either?
No.
No.
I know it's a long movie, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I could watch it, honestly, because since it's 4 hours.
Yeah, I feel like I'll watch it one time and then never watch it again.
Yeah, like it's not one of those movies that you'd watch on a different day just because,
I couldn't
so
watch it
long.
all at once either. I'll probably have to watch
Pause
2
it
hours
and then- yeah.
pause and then come back and watch it again.
That makes sense. So talking about superheroes, what would you say is your favorite superhero?
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Spider-Man.
Oh, speaking of Spider-Man, actually, have you seen that, they're going to come out with, the new movie with
new
all three
Spider-Man?
original, Spider-Mans, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, the original, and then the other one, and then Tom Holland.
Yeah, I was obsessed. I used to go and then my room was Spider-Man once upon a time.
Mm-hmm. So are you excited for that movie?
Yes, because I'm going to go see it because he's my favorite. Do you have
Yeah.
any favorite?
Honestly, I'm not trying to sound basic, but I would have said Spider-Man too, so.
Man,
yeah.
Spider-Man, he's
a really good superhero. I mean, besides him, I guess I would say Captain America. He's a good hero, I guess you could say.
From the little screen to the big screen, local reporter Ed Ernstes has been a reporter for WSBT for 40 years and recently retired. He also acted in independent films and has been an extra in Hollywood films, including Batman: The Dark Knight. Please welcome Ed Ernstes.
To the set.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice
you
to
all
have
today?
you.
I'm good, and you?
Not bad.
So, what made you want to become a reporter?
Well, the trajectory of it was I went to Ball State initially. I was going to be a history teacher. Got into radio and television. I really liked that. Then was in the Army for 3 years. I was in what they call the Signal Corps, which was communications. One of those years was in Germany. And then by virtue of being in the Army, the government would pay for graduate school. So I went to San Diego State and had my first taste of news there, taking kind of radio and TV and film classes. And then I interned at a couple stations in San Diego. And from there, went to Terre Haute, and then I've been here at Channel 22 for 40 years.
Wow, that's a long commitment, to be
time.
honest. Yeah, I don't think I could do that for 40 years,
Yeah, but I feel like if you like the job, I feel like it would really work.
That makes sense. So, speaking of like, being 40 years in WSBT, what were your like the stories that you would usually, talk about?
Well, a lot of times it was ordinary people. Sometimes it was ordinary people in difficult situations. A lot of times good stories, good humanitarian stories. A lot of times sad and bad stories. Uh, there's so many people in Michigan and Indiana that I interviewed, and I did the math really quick, and I figured out conservatively have probably interviewed 40,000 people in 40 years, if that. And to do this, you kind of have to be a people person. You have to be able to, go with the flow in terms of news and things like that.
Can you tell us one of your favorite stories that you ever reported?
Yeah.
Usually it's people, school kids doing good things, helping people. A lot of stories that I did with the COVID in the past year had to do with nonprofits helping provide food or utility, rent, those kind of things. As I was saying earlier, that there's so much of a technology change. You go from one to the other, and just not, you have to be a good people person to be able to work with people, but you have to adjust with the new technologies and, figure out how to use those.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of technology, how was it like adjusting to the new technology from back then?
Well, to go back far enough, I was at a station in Terre Haute for 2.5 years, and we were on the tail end of film. It was actual film that they would have to develop and cut and splice. And then I was in the tail end of that. And then, as I was saying earlier, we've had so many different changes in technology, big cameras. And I'll never forget when we first got a cell phone in a car. It was kind of like a small briefcase you would plug into your cigarette lighter. And then you would call people and go, "No, I'm in the car. I'm talking on a cell phone." And now it's changed to like the very small cell phones.
Yeah.
Editing, just so many things have changed, and it's going to evolve. If both of you are looking to maybe get into television news, it's going to change, year after year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, besides being in the news, we've also heard that you've been in movies, in the production side, I guess. Well, a different side of production, I guess you could say. We also heard that, you were an extra on Batman The Dark Knight. I mean, how was that?
Well, it was different. I kind of started out, it was kind of like baby steps. Get in local movies here, figure out what that's all about, because you can observe to see how they're actually made. Was an extra, people in the background, and then got some speaking roles here in the area. And then while I was still doing that, went to Chicago a number of times to be an extra in movies there. So with that, I guesstimate all told, I've been in about 70 different projects, big and small. So as you mentioned, the biggest one was probably The Dark Knight. I was on set for 2 days, saw a lot with that. There was a movie out with Johnny Depp called Public Enemies, so I got to see him. And you really get to see behind the scenes on those, and then you take that with you, what's going on, well, how do you make a movie and those kind of things. And so with retirement, I kind of really plan to get back into that, maybe take acting lessons in Chicago and be in local productions here.
Wow.
So now that you're going to be retired, so you're going to do more of the acting side?
Acting, and I'll probably do a little script writing. Our group, film group we're with, Mid-America Filmmakers, we have a script writing group. And so understanding that and how movies work, and try to just reach out to people in the area who are doing movies. And, previous to having a full-time job, it's kind of hard to take off a couple times.
Talking about Dark Knight, because I still can't get over that. Imagine being an extra like for a big movie like that. Is there like any like anything cool that happened like on set that you like saw or like witnessed, I guess you could say?
Well, I saw how they did a lot of things. For instance, they would choreograph the fight scene where they're Batman and Joker are fighting. And so I got to watch all that. And I had, like I said, Christian Bale dressed as Batman bumped into me, and he said, "Excuse me," and I go, "Oh, that's okay." So I don't know if that considers talking with him. And Maggie Gyllenhaal kind of bumped into me, and she said, "Sorry," and I go, "Oh, that's okay." But I got to see all the actors there, Heath Ledger, Christian Bale reacting with the director. And so there's like so many things. I mean, it's just, I still remember it, and it's been so long ago.
Wow. See, I feel like that's a really cool environment to be in. So,
I could get to be on the set. Like, what was your favorite movie that you were in that's most memorable?
Well, I've done, like I said, the Batman, but I've done a wide array of movies here locally. I was in a movie where I was a wizard. I've been a gangster. I've been a lawyer. I've been a judge.
How was that?
Well, you just get into like a character, and you just do that.
well, I like that. That's very interesting how you went from, working in the news to then, becoming an extra, you got to do everything, didn't you? You even were in the Army. Well, thanks for joining us and talking about yourself a little bit. We really enjoyed having you on our show. Thank you, Ed, and thank you for watching this episode of The Big Whoop Show. And make sure to listen to our radio show on WETL 91.7 FM, The Mix South Bend. Have a great day.